Hello, everybody. Everything looks good. And I got the beer. Cheers. Hope everybody had a great week. And we start our new show. So everything's all right here. So hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is a show about radio, anything about radio from 0 to 30 megahertz, and sometimes we go higher. You know, we don't always have the VHF show. So sometimes having the questions come by is okay, you know. We try to keep it below 30 megahertz. And I hope that you guys will enjoy today's show. We've got a few things to talk about. There's an event coming up tonight at 0100 UTC, which is called Night of Nights. We're going to explain that a little bit. And hope that everybody will enjoy today's show. So this is the Shortwave Radio Show. We are here every Fridays, 2000 hours Universal Time, 20 UTC, every Fridays. We talk about radio. There's no time limit, so there's you know, this show can last an hour, can last 3 hours. We had a 5-hour and 30-minute show, I believe, is the record. Is 4 or 5 hours 30 minutes? I forgot. 4 hours 30 minutes? I think it's 5 hours 30 minutes. I'm a little baffled now. I don't remember. And anybody remember the longest one? Anyways, it was long. Of course, we talk about radio, and we just have a lot of fun. And we tune around the bands on my RSP1A software-defined receiver, or the Yaesu FT450 transceiver. And of course, we check out what's available, what we can hear. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And this, of course, is where you radio geeks and amateur radio operators, you know, that place where, because let's face it, there's nowhere where we can talk about radio without having people yawn or being bored to death. Well, this is the place where we're just having fun, and we're just a bunch of great guys. There's a beautiful chat room with beautiful people that are here to help you out if you have questions. Like I'm here to help out if we, of course, have questions. And we just, you know, plan on having fun and talking radio, answering questions. If you have questions, don't, you know, hesitate to ask. There's no dumb questions. You know, we've all been there at that moment where we know nothing and we're learning the hobby and we just need help, and we are here for that. So lots of fun things, hopefully today, and a nice show, I guess, hopefully for everybody. So like I said, my name is Joe, located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. We talk about radio every Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 20 UTC. Nick Amadot from Romania. Hello there. Nice to have you here. Bobby Burgess. Nice to have you on board from Louisiana. And I did read your email, Bobby. And, you know, take it easy. It's not the end of the world, you know. When we have people that don't want you somewhere, you know, find some other interesting places to hang out and just have fun. And, you know, it's better sometimes to just forget than try to find a reason why things happen. Dejan, nice to have you here. Andy Colley, nice to have you on board. Max Edstrong, nice to have you on board, my friend, from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Matt Ambale, nice to have you here from Colorado. Pretty cool to see you here. Ray Erdink, nice to have you on board from the UK. Terry Cook, nice to have you on board. KF7BQ in Montana. Kevin Wood, nice to have you on board, my friend, from Nova Scotia, Canada. What else do we have? Let's check out here in the beautiful chat room. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Let's go down and try to keep with the chat as much as possible. Hey Sheldon, nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Bonjour, hi, guten tag, ni hao, hola. Buenos tardes, buenas noches, wherever you are in the world. David Arden, nice to have you here. And yeah, you know, nothing better than that. Likes on a video that hasn't started yet. That tells you how some people are great fans. Dada Duden, nice to have you here, my friend. Jerry DX, nice to have you on board. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Donald Hosmer, nice to have you here. W8SWL in West Branch, Michigan, USA. Rufus Newt, nice to have you on board from the Laurentian Valley in Ontario. Nice to have you here. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue de la France. Toujours un grand plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. And hope everybody's having a great time. Driver Films Shortwave, nice to have you here, my friend. Brian, Iowa, nice to have you here, Brian. Joe Topinka, nice to have you here from Chicago, 87 Fahrenheit. And will be hotter over the weekend. It's got a Yaesu FRG 100, ETH-Kit 1418 audio filter, Wellbrook ALE 1530, Scotch RFI. Nice to have you here, Joe. WA9LAE, amateur radio call sign. And it is CHU in the background. I actually just synchronized the clock with CHU. So basically, it's interesting because I compared it to the Yaesu on the sloper. So the Yaesu is on the sloper, and I get that. And the W6 LVP loop, I get that. Which is much better. So the loop really dishes out that CHU signal so much more than my sloper in that frequency range. Keith Logan, nice to have you on board. Ray Bennett, nice to have you here from Boise, Idaho. Nice to have you on board. And here's Mr. Paul the Cat to say hi to everyone. So Mr. Paul says hello. Here's the camera a little down. Here we go. Here's Mr. Paul saying hi to everybody. And hope you enjoy. And Mr. Paul has been spending a big chunk of the day outside. I went to see the neighbors. I saw him being petted by a couple of old women. So he's been going around and seeing his friends. And he spent a good chunk of the morning on the neighbor's yard. So now he decided to come over and say hi. So he says hi to everybody, of course. And Mr. Paul, of course. You guys want to see him more than that? I know. Here goes. So what else do we have? Ray Bennett, nice to have you here. We have Mr. Blackpool, nice to have you on board from Blackpool, UK. Pretty cool. NDRC, nice to have you here. Degens from Germany. Hey Jack, 2112, nice to have you here. N9IIF, the man behind this Yaesu receiver. Thank you so much. What else do we have? D1DJK, nice to have you on board from Germany, my friend. John Pickney, nice to have you on board. How about pitching the hurricane internet? Yes, there's Tropical Storm Barry that is heading towards Louisiana. People are going a little nuts over there. And so there's, of course, one of the things to check out on 20 meters for that is, and let's see if there's some activity here. There's the Hurricane WatchNet that probably is active. 14325 usually is where they are. Hurricane WatchNet. So usually they are on 14325 in the daytime, 7268 nighttime. I think I hear some weak talking in the background. So they are the Hurricane Watch Net as Tropical Storm Barry is heading towards Louisiana. So you might hear some communications there and some great some people logging in and giving the details of how the weather is where they are in affected areas in Louisiana. I know that they're really scared with this one because of the amount of rain that's supposed to fall, which is kind of crazy. So I hope things are not going to be too bad. NERC says excellent Sporting E on 10 meters in the UK into Scandinavia and Eastern Europe. Cool. For you guys in Europe, check that out. There was some here this morning. I heard 11 meter and 10 meter activity. I heard some 10 meter and CB activity almost every day this week. There was a lot of Sporting E skip happening this week. So this is something to check for. My trick is always to check for channel 6, CB channel 6, 27025. So John Pigney's from Virginia. Nice to have you here, my friend. We have Randy in Riverside, California, KN6BZG. Nice to have you here. G or J. What do we have? Let me just check it out here. Yeah, no stupid questions in here. Absolutely not. There's, we all started somewhere, and I mean, we all, if we had this type of opportunity, honestly, when we started, I mean, I remember knowing nothing about the hobby when I started when I was 13 years old, and if I would have had the chance to have this type of YouTube guy from somewhere, yes, I'm proud. I have no viruses according to Windows 10. If I would have had that the opportunity to have something like this, I would have loved it when I was young. Rob, nice to have you on board, Rob from Phoenix, Arizona. Brian Penny, nice to have you on board from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Pretty cool to have everybody here. NDRC says the station from Market Reef Lighthouse off the coast of Finland, 28480, around 10 meter now for those in Europe. So check that out, you guys. You can hear a special event station on Market Reef Lighthouse. It's a very small island, and it's really, really nice. They'll be having different stations, so you guys can actually make contacts with that gang on that little island, and there's special QSL cards, and so check it out. Kind of cool. It's always nice to have to have all of that happening. Hey Matt, nice to have you on board. No problem at all. Saw your picture yesterday. You looked like you had fun. It looked like a great place. So have fun, man, and take care. Redelva65, nice to have you here. Joseph Ivankovic Jr., KE8IDN, nice to have you on board from Battle Creek, Michigan. John Picnic, mentioning the frequencies for the Hurricane Watch Net. 14325 upper sideband day, 7268 lower sideband night. So tune around because you might have some interesting contacts and interesting information. Hey Kimberly, K6YYL. Oh man, I forgot about that Eduardo. Hola Kimberly from Eduardo in Montreal. I totally forgot about that one. Oh man. Yes, amazing people. Rob, you're right. Amazing people here. JD Williamson, nice to have you on board. Guten Abend, buenos noches, ni hao, privyet. I hope I pronounced it right. Privyet? Is it pronounced like that? Am I close? Am I just close a little bit? Oh, that was so funny, D1 DJK. So you guys have seen that on the channel. I started posting the videos of my top 10 favorite shortwave portable receivers. And on the first video with the Texan R9012, Paul insisted that he wanted to be part of the video. So part of the video, you could see his whiskers. And another part of the video, he's just got the face in front of the camera. And it was just so funny, I thought, I'm going to leave it like that. It's just great. And, you know, and it's funny because when I was posting the video, you know, you could put tags so that people can see the video. And I was thinking, man, I should put cat video in the tags. Maybe we would have cat video people start, you know, listening to shortwave or something. John Pickney is W3XWT/4, one of the few former broadcast calls on the ham band. Oh, interesting. Vancouver Island DXer, nice to have you on board, Brian, VE7AUL. Says no antenna work this past week. He's identified the most active 6-meter band frequencies that I can hear. There was a lot of stuff on 6 meters this week, absolutely. PLF radio, is it better to sync your clock with CHU or WWV? Well, technically, both CHU and WWV should be on dot on the frequency and on their time signal, so they should technically have the same accuracy. One of the things about shortwave propagation that's very weird that a lot of people don't know is that there are two things that affect how accurate the clocks can be when they set up. And you know, in this case, it's a manual setup. It's not very important, even if it had a half a second difference. We're not going to go nuts over that. But in some moments, we need very precise time. And an example is anybody that uses WSJTX software and decodes digital modes FT8, JT65, and so on. Part of the code requires that your clock on your computer be extremely precise. So technically, when you receive a signal over the air, the propagation distortion can sometimes create a time shift. It's very weird, you know. It has to do with physics, and propagation characteristics can sometimes kind of shift slightly the accuracy of the signal. Technically, in a precise world, I would say CHU would technically be more accurate than WWV for me, for a very simple reason. It's closer to me. CHU is what, 120 miles away? WWV is thousands of miles away. So WWV, even though that difference is so small that it's probably, for me at least, you know, I mean, in science experiments, it'd be important. But for me, it's probably pretty much impossible to notice. The fact that WWV is a little further away would mean that there's a little bit more delay in the time signal that arrives here from WWV. But honestly, for whatever we all do, we don't have to really go nuts over that. Jason, KJ5VHT, nice to have you on board from Southern Louisiana. And well, I hope that things are going well, and if you're still on throughout the show, why not give us some updates on how bad or how things are down there. I think some people might find it really interesting to know what's happening. Hopefully things are going to be are not going to be too bad for you guys. Gary Thornton, nice to have you here. Nick Hammondot, nice to have you on board from Romania. Rob says, Mr. Paul, best cat on YouTube. Oh, man. David Arden, Paul wants one of Joe's portable radios. Yep, pretty much. Harvey Wins, nice to have you here from Connecticut. Going fishing. Cool. Cool. Zachary Antle, nice to have you on board. So today I learned about the Blake River Mega Caldera Complex. It's a series of ancient volcanoes on the border between Quebec and Ontario. It's 2.7 billion years old and has an area of 3,000 square kilometers. Okay, kind of interesting. Huh. I've never heard of that. Gerald Delano. Nice to have you here, Gerald. Always nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. Pretty cool. And is listening to 3985. Mad Reader DXer. Nice to have you here, my friend. Let's try to get down as more. What else do we have? Hey, Jean-Marc. I saw Jean-Marc, which is a friend of mine that we have usually when I go out on... Yeah, the cat wants to... There we go. Usually when we go out for a beer, I go out for a beer on Sunday nights. We actually have a beer together and talk about everything and laugh our head off. So welcome aboard, Jean-Marc from Montreal. What else do we have? It's not active. Wonder why it's not active. I mean, it could technically become a hurricane. I did hear some stuff there. It's kind of weird that they are not activating the Hurricane WatchNet. I mean, I think it could be useful. J.D. Williamson says, Riders on the Storm just came up on the radio. Henry Coley says 10 meters was open to state last night for first time in 18 months. Wow. Call sign 2E0REE. Wow, that would have been nice. I haven't heard Europe on 10 meters in years. Honestly, in years. Degen says AM and shortwave stopped working on my Texan PL660. The signal wasn't processed properly, so it wasn't listenable, but Amazon sent me my replacement, should arrive tomorrow. Okay, cool. Be careful if you clip antennas to it. Portable receivers are very sensitive to the fact that you can zap the circuit if you actually plug an antenna, outdoor wire, or if you touch the radio. If you have carpet in your home and you touch the radio, be very careful. If it's very dry, you can zap the antenna input. You've got to be careful. Sheldon says the July 2019. Yeah, let's show that. Where's my tablet's here. Let's show that. So, of course, the July edition of the CIDX Messenger is out. And let me just fetch it out here on my tablet so I can show you guys the July. So let's check it out. July Messenger. Here we go. So if you guys want to join a great radio club that has a nice electronic publication every month called the Messenger, where I write an article, which is a world of utilities, and of course there's so much stuff in here. So this is the cover of the July edition. Oops. Of the Messenger, and it contains tons of stuff. It contains World of Utilities, very interesting QSL from Mickey Homage, broadcast band stuff from Nigel Pimblett. There's the logbook, David Ross is that. There's Arctic and Antarctic DX. There's the DX program guide. There's technical topics. There's ham radio news and news from John Fisher. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's for everybody. The free radio scene by Chris Lobdell. So you know, there's a lot of stuff, and it's a very, very nice publication. This is page 2 with the table of content. So you know what? This is a great little publication for anybody that loves radio. You can ask for a sample copy. Sheldon will send you happily a sample copy, and you can ask that at cidxclub@yahoo.com. If you've never asked for a copy before, and of course he's going to be happy to send you one, and it's very cheap. I mean, $10 for a year, $25 for 3 years, and it's a great little bulletin, electronic publication you get in your email every month. So why not check that out and join the club. And even if CIDX is the Canadian International DX Club, there's stuff for everybody in there. It's not just for Canada. I mean, it's a worldwide publication. FX2 Mark 8, nice to have you on board from Michigan. Ray Bennett. And he's got a question. What is a sloper? So that's what I'm using here, by the way, on the Yaesu. And a sloper is technically, simply put, it's a wire antenna. But instead of being horizontal, it's at an angle. So it's like a slope. That's why it's called a sloper. So mine is, of course, on the corner of a 3-story building here, and goes down to the corner, the east corner of the backyard. Roughly, I would say it's about 12 feet off the ground from that corner. And so it's simply a wire that's angled, and it becomes, because of the angle, it becomes a sloper. Jason KJ5VHD says, trying to charge my batteries on my Texan PL660, and it keeps saying that they fully charge. However, as soon as I switch to battery power, it shuts off. Maybe the batteries are bad. Yeah, there's a good chance. For that. Eddie SX says, working some FT8 and watching the show. Cool. Twisted tea, my drink today. Cool. And yes, the CIDX Montreal barbecue. And yes, we will be live on Saturday, August 17. We will be live from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Absolutely. So at 2000 UTC on Saturday, August 17th, we will be live from the CIDX barbecue. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's cross our fingers for beautiful weather. Page Master for more Oklahoma, KI5CWF. Nice to have you here. And yes, absolutely. Page Master offers himself to answer any questions. So of course, pretty cool. So nice to have you here, Jean-Marc, J. Jolie. Nice to have you on board. Driver Films answering pretty much. It's really an angled wire antenna, basically. Sheldon is sharing the Hurricane Watch Net. Says not active, so pretty much. Kind of weird though. Kind of weird. Okay, let's try to catch up with the chat a little bit because I'm 13 minutes behind right now. We have Ray Erding has 15130. What's 15130? Anything here? Nothing much here, but I do have 15140. Radio Vanna, Cuba. For those that want to listen to Radio Vanna, Cuba, 15140. It's not very strong here, but it's there. That's definitely Radio Havana, Cuba. So Radio Havana, Cuba, 15140. And yeah, the sloper, and my sloper is end fed. It's not in the middle. You, Kelvin Morgan, nice to have you here from South Wales, UK, MW5 UFO, nice to have you on board. Richard McLeod, nice to have you here. And yeah, Brother Stare is in a lot of places, absolutely. And you know, that WBCQ with that flat earth programming, oh man, 500 kilowatts of trash. That's pretty much what I call it. Man. Ray Erdings is using SDR Play Pro 2 with a long wire. Cool. Cool. Going down. Trying to reach and get a little more on the actual time. Okay, what else? Jerry says hearing tones on 14325. Maybe they are starting up, or maybe they didn't update the page to let people know it's active. So, Pete Logan, what are we going to listen today? Oh, we're going to go through different things. We're going to check out the signals and see what's there. Yep, there's the NOAA weather stations for sure down there in the Louisiana area. So of course, and you can listen to some of the maritime stations giving out weather bulletins. Yeah, I did take a listen a little bit on the flat earth stuff, broadcasting, which is a waste of 500 kilowatts. They've been on and off. They've not been on all the time. Like right now, 9330 is not there. There's a very strong signal from Greece on 9420. So Greece on 9420. This is the voice of Greece. And I think 94.6. I'm not sure. I think 94.60 is voice of Turkey, maybe. But you know, as for me, you know that the 9330 frequency, 500 kilowatts from WBCQ, is trash. And I mean, it's you know, I like WBCQ's other stuff. They have kind of eclectic, weird programming, and that's okay. But man, it's 9330. Forget it. I can tell you that. Oh, cool, Richard McLeod. Hope the cat is better. Nathan Bali says, so the ionosphere is the ionos flat. I like that. We are broadcasting over the ionos flat. That is good. I love this one. The only JK every morning wakes up with Austria 6155. I missed when they had you know, English and French language programs. It was so cool. I miss Radio Austria. Donald Hosmer says CIDX cover with radio-related postage stamps. I have collected of those. I got the idea from an ODXA guy, Neil Carton, back in the 80s. Cool. Yeah, it's always expensive to have our cat going to the vet. But the important is that he's getting better. Imad Abbas, nice to have you on board from Algeria. Robert Babcock, nice to have you on board. W0RAB from Connecticut. John Pickney, there's an historic minute on YouTube invoking an important figure in Canadian broadcast history. J. Alphonse Quimet. Google le réseau. I'm going to check that. There's a lot of names and, you know, radio-related people that we don't know that much about. I believe there's no official minimum length. Mine is 75 feet long, about 22 meters in the backyard. I'm not sure there's actually, I don't know if there's of course, if you have 3 feet of wire, I don't think 3 feet of wire with this angle is a sloper. But then again, you got a 3 feet sloper, I guess. It's like long wire, because there are terms. So, for example, if your wire is less than 100 feet, I believe, you have to call it a wire antenna. It's more than 100 feet, you call it a long wire, and it's more than 1,000 feet, it's a beverage, something like that. I don't know where you switch the name, but there are different names depending on the So, but I would, and on shortwave, anyways, Max Headstrong, on shortwave, I always, say to everybody when they ask me, oh, what length of wire should I put up? Just put the longest piece of wire you have, and you can put up. Just don't go nuts over the length. Just put the longest one you can put up. Unless you live in the middle of the woods, I don't think you're going to put up 2,000 feet of wires. You're just going to, oh, I got 50 feet. Perfect. The longer the better is pretty much what I'll say for reception for anybody that asks, Juan amigo, ¿cómo está mi amigo from donde Barcelona, Spain? Nice to have you here. Johnny DXer, nice to have you on board from the suburbs of Philadelphia, W3JMC. Daniela, nice to have you on board from the depths of the orange line of subway in Montreal. So looking forward for the new Ethon Satellite Elite. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when it comes out, actually, and the reviews it's going to get. Very nice. And cool to have you on board from I think I told you last time, I have an image of you in the subway holding your phone or something with your earbuds and watching me. It's like I even hear the noise of the subway. Oh man, it's just fun. Man. Richard McLeod says the cat on this show seems to enjoy getting into the video when possible. Droger Film Shortwave says Shannon Volmet 5505 upper sideband. Dr. Sissop, nice to have you on board from Florida. Picking up 10 and 11 meter activity lately here, pretty much all week here. SWL60N, nice to have you on board from Stockholm, Sweden. Clear skies and 13 Celsius at 10:30 p.m. over there. This weekend, a lot of people will be tracking the path of tropical storm Hurricane Barry in New Orleans. Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of it because I know they're scared of all the rain. D1DJK in Germany is hearing China Radio International from Albania transmitter site 5960. David Arden, they have put up. Okay, I got two things first to say. One, before I forget, I think WBCQ website has been hacked, and the reason why, I went to WBCQ.com on Monday, and my browser came back with my computer's infected with a virus thing that you usually see on porn sites or bad websites. So I was like, whoa. So I requested the page again, and that time it just brought WBCQ. And then somebody on Tuesday, I think, said, hey, it says that the WBCQ.com domain doesn't exist anymore. And I went to see, and yeah, it said that the domain name was available for anybody that would have purchased it. And of course, a funny thing that somebody could have done is to hurry up and buy WBCQ.com and put up a fake WBCQ page or something with flat earths everywhere. I would have done that. I think it would have been fun. you take the domain name and you put flat earths, just flat earths on it, you know. And you know, you do these fake videos of why Earth is flat and how God created flat earths, and that in reality even the planets are flat and everything in the universe is flat. I don't know. I think I would have had fun doing that. Gary Thornton says Texan PL 880 is $60 more than the Sangean ATS 909X at 230. Which one should I buy? I have nothing now. Both are great. It's up to you. I'm surprised that the PL 880 costs more than the ATS 909. Look around, because the PL 880 is less expensive than the ATS 909 usually. So look around for the prices for sure. But ATS 909X, the only thing is it's a little deaf on the telescopic antenna. But if you put a wire antenna on it, you're going to have a great radio. It's a beautiful radio. And whatever you buy is going to be pretty good. Dr. Sisop says 6 megahertz, I guess, want to say, is trashed also, as someone should jam it, as audio is unbearable, and fix 9395, as I think they're jamming them. Yeah, it could be coming from Cuba. I wouldn't be surprised Cuba is jamming 9395. And lately 5850 is impossible here. I even heard 5850 with a Stanag signal over it, which is kind of weird. Hey, William Helms in Florida, nice to have you here. John Pickney says, Sangean is no-brainer. My PL 880 was great until it went toes up after warranty expired. My PL 880 is now a paperweight. You know, I got many Texans here, and apart from the PL 680 that had a little problem, they all are great working radios after years. So maybe you were just unfortunate to have one that got a defect, unfortunately. Hey, Tony Turtle, nice to have you here. Forest Movies, nice to have you here from Germany. DE1FTK, nice to have you here, Frank. Jan De Jong, do you also have a ham license? Greetings from Holland. Nice to have you here. I'll be getting that this year, later this year. So I will be fully licensed, yes, before the end of this year. Dr. Sisov's got something on 3300 AM. It's quiet sideband. Some type of noise or tones here. Well, that's kind of interesting. I'll try to hear, but I don't think we're midday here. 3300 is not going to be very... Not hearing anything here, but I did hear a few times some unusual tones around 33. No, it was lower than that. It was like 3002, 3003 kilohertz, something like that. Joseph Ivankovich says your frequency and station memory is simply amazing. That helped me in life. Helped me in life a lot, because I do have an amazing memory. And since I listen a lot, and I usually, when I just look up one station and where it's transmitting from, it's usually enough for me to have it in my head and just remember. So when I tune around, most of the time I'm pretty much know what I'm listening to. It's really helpful. Yeah, 3330 CHU, but if he's on 3300, then that would not be CHU. But if he's on 3330, but he's on 3300, which is not CHU. So John Pigney says, with Mr. Paul's increasing popularity, it's only a matter of time before Actra becomes knocking on your door. I will have to register Paul the Cat as a brand. Man. What else do we have here? PLF Radio is listening to KBS World Radio from South Korea and German on 3955. Yeah, Brian in Vancouver says, is simple, effective antenna policy. More wire, higher. Pretty much my way of thinking. So that's pretty nice. 30 Turtle says 10 meters made contact with Ventura County, California from Michigan with 50 watts in a wire. Nice. You know, that's the fun part of 10 meters, because when 10 meters is open, you don't need a lot of power to actually make it across. That's the beauty of 10 meters. Radio Romania should be in English right now. Let's try 13650. Yeah. 11850 is better for me. It's not very strong though. Propagation on the both frequencies 11850 and 13650 in the past week, 2 weeks, it's not been very, very good. D1DJKs, I got it in Germany on 6170. Okay, WBCQ website seems okay now. Maybe they got kind of hacked or something. It's kind of weird. It was really, really weird. What else do we have? Yeah, it is a beautiful radio. The 909X does have and is a very sexy radio. A very, very sexy radio for sure. I don't agree, Dr. Sissant. The Texans are pretty good. Texan PL's 600 I have is great. And I do have a lot of FM problems here, and it doesn't bleed that much. There's much worse radio than bleeds, I can tell you that. The Texan receivers are, in general, pretty good. What else do we have? Jason getting light rain on and off. Wind gust 30-35. All loose items are picked up in the yard. Took my HF dipole antenna down. Tested the gas generator. So hope everything's all right, my friend. I heard that the Texan 9900 or 990, I remember if it's 9900 or 99 or 990, is supposed to be somewhere this fall. So we're going to see. Apparently somewhere this fall. First we're going to check it out and see if see the reviews. For sure. Driver Film Shortwave has French Fisherman on 4660 upper sideband. Always kind of nice to check it out. 7860 Radio Marti, yeah, that one is always pretty strong. It's usually comes in very well. Zacharianto says, of course, Jill is sexually aroused by radio. That sounds so weird. So weird. The only JK says, surely the typical Texan design, their line starts up with the 310 ET and ends with the PL 990. They all look a bit like each other. Yeah, there are some similarities, absolutely, that's for sure. But it's kind of interesting. Yeah, but they're not cutting the. Let's go back a little bit, Dr. Cisa. We're far from having 144, 146 gone. Actually, many of the European countries, amateur clubs, have now kind of started their battle, and it's just a proposal from France. So you know what? If that would happen, first of all, it wouldn't happen before at least 2023, if not later. And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think. And remember that it's only for their region. It would not affect North America. Here we would still have our ham band. But you know, I'm far from. We got to fight for it. But I'm far from thinking that we're going to lose that portion of the 2-meter amateur band. Honestly, I don't think we're going to be. We're there at all. So you know, it's. I don't think it's gonna happen. Honestly, there's way too many radios and way too many things happening in that frequency range. Honestly, and I don't think that's gonna happen. So you know, I think it's. They already lost part of the 220 megahertz band in the United States. So Donald Hosmer says, World's Last Chance, WBCQ 9330 in Arabic now on the air. So let me just check it out again. It wasn't on the air when I checked earlier. I've got a very faint signal. Very faint signal. They do broadcast. They're supposed to broadcast 24 hours, and they're supposed to broadcast with different patterns. So different, like for North Africa and for North America, the U.S., Canada, and Europe. So they have different. And that rotatable antenna apparently broadcasts in different areas. Here, you know, most of 9330 probably skips over me because Monticello, Maine is not that far away. But it is sometimes it is very, very strong. David Provo, nice to have you on board from Lakewood Ranch, Florida. Nice to have you here, my friend David. Pretty cool. So PLF radio, what's happening with the 2-meter band is that there is a proposal from France to the ITU conference that will happen in, I think it's 2023. What they want to do is take away 144 to 146 megahertz and reassign it to aeronautical stuff. So it's been getting a lot of attention from ham radio groups because, I mean, it is the 2-meter band. I mean, it's a very popular band, honestly. And so more and more amateur groups are actually getting up here and saying, whoa, stop, you know. And this is, you know, what I always say, whatever band we talk about, 2 meters, any HF bands, you cannot take for granted that they are there and they're your bands because they're an amateur operator and they'll always be there. That is something that you have to fight for. Something you got to show that, you know, it's important for these bands to exist. So, you know, this is an example. Somebody somewhere that probably doesn't, you know, I guess probably does not do any amateur radio activity or know what it's all about, decided, oh, look at that, there's a nice chunk there that we can take out. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised it comes from some guy somewhere that thinks that, oh, look, that's CB radio. It's just junk. Let's remove that from there. You know, I'm far from convinced that this will pass. Actually, I don't think this will ever go through, honestly. I don't think this will pass. So, you know, it's a French proposal, but a lot of the other countries are rejecting it. A lot of the amateur groups. It would affect, of course, the whole of Europe because it's not just France with that. And, you know, we're still far off, but I would be surprised this thing ever goes through. There's a petition that you can sign, drove from Shortwave as shared one. There's another one on change.org about 2-meter band and you know, a petition to save it. So KF4LXS, nice to have you on board. Yeah, that's what I think. They probably noticed it was off and they paid to renew it. So they're supposed to end AM radio for digital use by 2021. Well, there's no talk really about anything of this here. And even though there is talk about some stuff about it in the US, you know, remember one thing. Just look at HDTV. HDTV is, you know, was proposed for a specific date, and it was pushed back so many times before it officially was, you know, it's, I don't know, we're far from being there yet. There are some, you know, like on the FM band, I was curious because some of you guys were talking about DAB broadcasting and digital broadcasting from the FM stations here in Montreal, and yeah, I found out that yeah, there are a few stations that are on digital on the FM band, but it's really kind of experimental and nothing really is happening yet. That doesn't mean that someday there won't be a official date where you're going to say, hey, AM radio broadcasting as we know it is now going to be digital starting that date. But there's talk, but there's really nothing. Mark Fisher, nice to have you on board from Southern Illinois. Peter Friedel, but are the aeronautical bands full? You know, it's not totally clear what they want to do exactly, but they want to kind of reassign that for some kind of, you know, aeronautical stuff, whatever. I don't know exactly. John Pickney, there's some digital audio broadcasting on the FM band on a couple of stations, but there's really not a lot of digital stuff happening yet on what is the broadcast bands at least. Kevin Wood, yeah, we are kind of close. So 93, and especially that frequency too. It reminds me of the days of Radio Canada International, when they were on 96.25 all day long, and it was a hit or miss. It was either from Sackville, New Brunswick, it was either skipping over or I was getting great reception, and it was pretty much true also of the North American service of Radio Canada International for Canada and US. I remember 5960 was usually good, but 97, what was it? 9755, I believe, was the other one. That one was a hit or miss all the time. So, because there is some digital audio broadcasting on the FM bands. There are a few digital stations on the FM bands here. that are both with their analog FM and the digital broadcasting. Sampan Templar, nice to have you here. D Shortwave, nice to have you on board, my friend. So, D Shortwave says, I do not think it's going through also, but it's a warning to all hands to use it more. Absolutely. You know, one of the things that I actually I was thinking when that happened is look at the 10-meter band. You know, it would be easy to look at the 10-meter band, which is a large band. I mean, on HF, the 10-meter band is a whole 1.7 megahertz wide. It's a big chunk of the shortwave spectrum. And it would be easy for anyone that doesn't know anything about propagation to go there and say, oh, amateur radio operators don't use that band. It's always dead. Like a lot of amateur operators come to me or will comment and say, well, there's nothing there. Yeah, there's things there when propagation and when solar activity acts up. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. And it would be easy for some guy somewhere to look at that and say, look at that, we have a nice 1.7 megahertz wide spectrum there that we could use to do something. So we got to be careful, because what amateur radio operators have could easily be removed by some idiot that doesn't know what it's all about, and that works for a big company that will pay billions of dollars for something. And you know, like we were talking last week, the nonsense of governments can sell radio spectrum. What? Radio spectrum is not owned by anybody. I'm sorry. How come you're making billions of dollars out of this suddenly? Maglone, nice to have you here. Says they're going to compress the TV spectrum and we'll have to rescan TVs. You know, there's going to be changes. There's that new, HD TV standard and so many things. It's like, John Pickney says right now domestic broadcasters fighting for their lives. Their economic model wasn't designed for non-ad supported competition. You know, there's a lot of if you look at AM, let's put it to the broadcast bands, AM, FM, and these stations are struggling. I mean, for a long time, the audience was there on radio stations, and especially on AM. The AM broadcast band is dying because of several problems. It's dying because there's so much interference that a lot of people just stopped listening to it. The audio fidelity is bad, so of course you're not going to listen to music there. I did when I was young, listen to music on, and I remember one station was playing all the songs that people wanted to hear, and me and my friends would call up that station and ask for our favorite songs all the time that would always be played eventually in the evening. And today you're listening to music either on FM or just look at me, an example, and I'm not the only one. I do not listen to music on the radio anymore. I want to listen to music. I either going to stream some music stuff on the internet, or I got a Google Play account here, Google Play Music account that I pay every month, where I can listen to almost any album of any artist as I wish for $9.99 a month. So of course this is my way of listening to music now. So imagine that breaks the model of FM stations that play music. Because, what was annoying about FM stations when you were listening to their music? when the hell is my music, the one that I like, going to be played? Because there's going to be tons of junk songs that you don't want to hear in between all of that. Plus the fact that, will the announcer shut up when the song starts rather than talking for the first 30 seconds of that darn song? And now you have, I listen to my artists that I want to listen to, and the songs that I want to listen to when I want to listen to them. And it's even worse than that. The biggest competition of that is YouTube, because the young generation listens to their music on YouTube. They go and watch the video on YouTube and listen to the stuff on YouTube. And that's where you take a lot of their music, honestly. It's breaking the radio model. So in a case like FM radio, it's actually, the internet is a big problem, because the case of FM radio is, people listen through that now, and it's breaking their model of being there. Because when we were young, when in the 80s, there was nothing else. I wanted to listen to music, I would listen to Chaume FM here in Montreal for rock, or I remember listening to CKMF 94.3, which is changed name now, or C'est Quoi 96.9, and listen to music from these stations, and that was the way you consume music in those days, because there was nothing else really. And I would buy the records of my favorite artists and listen to that. But and we would make mixtapes, because anybody of my age or even older, what would we do? We have wanted at some point to stop listening to, because let's face it, half of the songs played were annoying and you didn't want to listen to them. And when they would play a song, well, we would all have our hands ready for that record button on the radio, on the boombox, because we would make mixtapes. And of course we would have mixtapes from friends, because you got that album and I got that album, we'll make a mixtape of our favorite songs from them, and we would share that. That was that time. Today I don't need a mixtape. I just go here, I do a playlist of some sort, I want to listen to Dark Side of the Moon, I'll just go here and go choose Pink Floyd and Dark Side of the Moon, and here goes, I'm listening to Dark Side of the Moon when I want to listen to it. And that means I don't listen to the radio. I have not officially listened to FM radio for music in years. Honestly, years. I think I stopped listening to FM radio when Napster arrived. You guys remember Napster? The first time that you could download whatever song from whatever artist for free, and everybody went crazy, and the record industry just got nuts, because everything was there and you could just download it and listen to it, and it was crazy. So there's a change, and of course radio still has an audience. I'm not saying it doesn't, but things are changing, and I mean, this is they better watch out, because a big chunk of the audience on FM radio that's being lost is because you're boring. Do something, you're boring. And the automation, I mean, stations today don't hire, or very little, a lot of them don't even hire a DJ. They get these lists and they just have that computer running with the songs, and they barely have a weather bulletin and whatever, because it's cheap. It doesn't cost a lot of money to run an automated station. You don't have to pay DJs, you don't have to pay for anyone, or you just have the tech guy there, because he's there to watch that everything's working, and that's pretty much it. And what I find probably the worst of all of that is the idea behind it, that they know what we want to listen to. which was always something that I found appalling. When I hear somebody saying, "Oh, well, we're playing that because that's what you want to hear." How the hell you know what I want to hear? No, you don't know what I want to hear. Half of it's crappy. You know? If I listen to an FM station, you know what? I should do the test. Listen to an FM station for 2 hours and count how many songs they played and how many songs I enjoyed listening to that they were playing. On the side of AM radio, the big problem is AM radio, first of all, has a lot of noise. And of course, if, the first most dumbest idea you can do is, I'm going to open a AM radio station with music. No, really? Please. We're not there anymore, okay? We don't listen to music on the AM. Please, stop thinking that. Now, that's where digital audio broadcasting comes in play, because they're saying, well, maybe they don't now, but maybe with DAB, because of the quality, they're going to want to do it. Yeah, but the problem with DAB and digital in general in broadcasting, and we see it with HDTV, it's a all or nothing situation. So the signal's there or it's not. It's not in the middle. We could listen to a crappy signal of a station on AM, but still listen. Here, it's either, oh, it's perfect and it's there, or it's, oh, I don't get it at all. And if you live in a noisy environment, because the AM band is one of the noisiest, it's probably one of the spaces where all that crappy junk that we buy from China, that is, switching power supplies and all sorts of electronic stuff, it's one of the bands that's probably the most affected by the noise level. Plus, more and more, look around, the number of radios that are sold that, oh, why should we put the AM band on that thing? So you buy the radio and it's like, oh, just FM, really? The other day I was looking at a Sangean MP3. It's a Sangean radio with MP3 player integrated. So you can, put an SD card or USB thumb drive. And it's expensive. It's like a $150 radio. It sounded great. It had only FM, no AM on it. And it clearly was, you either listen to FM or you listen to whatever you have on a USB thumb drive or a SD card. And yeah, $150. I personally, I know for a lot of people, it's not something you think about. I personally am in the mode of maybe I would like to have AM on a $150 radio. I don't know, maybe, just saying, but it's just, and honestly, I find FM digital broadcasting idiotic, because FM radio actually does sound good already. Do we really need better than that? With a good boombox or good radio, FM radio does sound pretty good already. So it's kind of interesting, D1DJK, interesting in this discussion. The CB band nobody attacks. It's nobody there want to buy it. Probably the community of CB is stronger than industry companies. No clue. Yeah, and I don't know. I think that discussion of CB is the same as the discussion I just had a few minutes ago of the 10-meter band having no amateur radio operators there. I think it's in the same. We're talking. I don't want to include CB in 10-meter activity because I'll get some ranting from some ham guy that's going to say, hey, don't you ever dare mix CB and ham radio. And I'm not. I'm just saying the CB band is in the same situation as the 10-meter band could be. That's it. It's just crazy. D Shortwave says, we have DAB for a few years, but somehow the normal FM radios are way more sold than new DAB Plus radios. There's something that is holding the peaks back. It's very simple. I see it a lot, and I've seen it in the past. People don't want to pay. People have a radio that works, and they don't understand, why should I pay for a new radio that works and it does the job that it's meant to do, you know? Dr. Sisop says hearing FCC may expand the FM from 76 to 108 since analog TV is gone. Not confirmed yet. It is a sign, you know, like in Japan, it's a sign from, I believe, 64, and there's some European countries also that have that. A sign from like 64 megahertz all the way up to 108. And actually, some of the shortwave radios I own here, you can change the mode, and it actually opens up way down to just 64 megahertz. Driver film shortwave saying like what I just said. UK government pushed DAB like crazy, claiming it was better than FM. Right till you get a signal breakup, FM is far better. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, FM, even if it's a little noisy, it's still there. DAB, digital audio broadcasting, if you have just a little peep of noise, forget it. You just lost completely. It just got zero. It's zero or it's there. And that's the problem with digital. William Pitchman, nice to have you on board. Have you listened to WBCQ, 500,000 watts now? I have listened a little bit just to see what kind of stuff they were doing. I almost went to a word here. But you know, it's 500 kilowatts of crap. That's pretty much what I think of that WBCQ transmitter. I'm sorry, but it's 500 kilowatts of crap that we could do something else with. D1JK says DAB is not popular in Germany too. Radio listeners count on the good old analog FM via antenna. 99% in cars receive analog FM radio. Fast load. Nice to have you here, my friend. No beer, fast load. Poor guy. Running out of beer. What a horrendous night. Victor Sisop, HD radio we use on AM, FM, but many radio do not have them, especially OEM radio in cars. Yeah, there's not a lot of it for sure. William, W8LV. Have you guys in Europe listened to the new WBCQ? Yeah, it's been heard all over the world, by the way. I've seen reports of pretty much up to Australia being receiving WBCQ's new 9330 kilohertz. Absolutely. You know, there's several things that push DAB, and I'm a little far back, guys, in the chat room. I'm sorry. The thing is, there's the lobby somewhere that wants you to buy new radios and stuff like that. There's the lobby that wants to sell that stuff. You know, it's like DRM on shortwave. DRM on shortwave. I'm sorry. I don't know who still thinks that DRM on shortwave is going to save shortwave somehow, or I'm sorry, no. Okay? Stop wasting our time and stop wasting money on that. It's not meant to be. Not on shortwave. I understand there are some positive aspects of digital broadcasting because it offers, when the reception is good, it offers, pretty clear, pretty good, quality audio. It offers tons of information in the form of what you can see on the display. A little bit like RDS, but more advanced. But, it's crazy. And, what else do we have? Max Strong says, my new laptop is so noisy, even powerful local AM stations struggle when in close proximity. Makes me want to scream. Yeah, absolutely. J.D. Williamson, am I the last one who listens to the radio for music? You might in your car, okay? Let's face it. If you're in a car, you might, when we rent a car, okay, I listen to music on the. Not even renting a car. I just match my phone with via Bluetooth to the car and listen to my music. But maybe in a car, in a work environment. Last time I listened to the radio, honestly, was 20 years ago, when I used to work in this place where they had the radio on all day long and made me hear all these new artists that I didn't know much of, like Alanis Morissette and all of that. But Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you want DJK? I totally agree. It's not just music. I mean, I look. I say I'm not listening to to FM music. I do listen to FM radio a little bit. I will listen to my local CBC French outlet for the news or for specific programs sometimes on 95.1. I do listen sometimes to the CBC English on 88.5, CBC 1, CBC Radio 1 a little bit. Sometimes there are some interesting topics. I do listen to FM on 107.9, where I hear the Vermont Public Radio Station with the BBC News Hour. I listened last night at midnight. It's the news hour from midnight to 1 a.m. I wasn't sleepy, so I thought, oh, it's BBC News Hour, and I took out my Texan PL 680 because I had done the video yesterday on my top favorite shortwave portables, and I listened to News Hour on the 107.9. So I do listen a little bit to the FM stations, but I don't listen to the music on it. And that's where it all comes to an idea that I've always had personally, which was I always thought, honestly, personally, that there should have been a rule. All music on FM and anything talk on AM. And I always had that sense of, AM radio is okay for talk radio. You don't need high quality for talk radio as long as you understand what's said. And I always thought that because for a long time, I mean, in the 80s here, FM was pretty much music everywhere of different kinds with community stations and stuff that had their own unique stuff. And then suddenly the CBC decided that the big powerful AM stations cost too much and they don't want to, it's going to cost less to be on FM, and let's move to FM with better audio quality. And I remember thinking, you're really going to put talk radio on FM now. It was okay on AM, and there were tons of problems. I mean, they had to put up when like the CBC went on FM. Oh, they suddenly noticed that there are tons of people that used to hear them that don't hear them anymore, and they had to put these little transmitters here and there on the territory because they couldn't get into certain communities that were saying, "Hey, we don't hear you anymore." They should have just left the stations. Everything that was talk radio should always have been on AM and stay there. Talk radio is perfect on AM. But somehow these stations say, well, on FM it'll get more popular, and maybe it's true because a lot of people will tune FM much more than AM. I mean, for sure. It's a complicated thing, for sure. David Pro says, local radio is one of the few media that sidesteps the homogenization of our culture. Yeah. But it's becoming more and more general. I mean, with all the automated stations today, everything's getting like a uniform. On the FM, here on the FM band, if I close my eyes and tune around different stations, and I can tell you, there's quite a few of them. If there's no talk, anything, I'm not sure I can tell you which one it is. Is that Virgin Radio? Is that, whatever? Because they all play the same thing and they all sound the same. Vanessa Paradis, yeah. I honestly go on AM at night, and I enjoy the skip of all the U.S. stations and stations from different places coming in to the AM frequencies at night. It's kind of fun. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here. 800 CKLW. Here we have 800 is CJAD. A station that is stuck in the past and that I never listened to. Driver Film Shortwave says, always listen to the medium wave band on the way to and from work when he's on the night shift. Yeah, it is a fun thing to do, absolutely. Magellan says, only listens to NPR and community radio station, stream music the way you do. Yeah. Napster, LimeWire, BearShare was the other one, BearShare. And then they were like, always like, okay, that one doesn't work anymore, let's go on LimeWire. That one doesn't work anymore, BearShare works. Cute MX, oh man. Honestly, community stations are kind of nice. WinMX, Keza, yeah, all of that. It's crazy. Well, for sure, music on 32 gigabytes, John Pinkney. You will have a lot of music on 32 gigabytes. Branson W, nice to have you on board. No problem, my friend. Kevin Wood says, Chum, CHUM was the go-to stations in the 60s. Oh, man. Ray Lyle, nice to have you here. Says, I love late night medium wave back in the late 70s. Disco rock and everything else you wanted there. Yep. Jeffrey Crop, nice to have you on board from New Hampshire. Pretty cool. The one DJ K says, Joe, we discussed as we are all being in the same little city talking about radio. We don't need to forget we are all in different countries and all have different needs. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's very different. Radio listening is different from country to country, area to area. I think there's a basic, but even then, I think there's a basic radio environment that we all kind of, wherever we live, kind of go on, But yeah, absolutely, there are some differences, that's for sure. John Pinkney says, the only local broadcast station I have present is WTOP FM in DC. The other broadcasters are CFZM, WHAN, so on. Interesting. I hear that one, 740 Toronto. It depends, D1DJK. Honestly, I think FM is very popular across North America. I mean, even when I in the 80s when I was listening to the radio, 90% of my radio listening was FM radio. I think everybody was there. AM radio was, my parents listened to AM radio because all the talk stuff and the different guys that talk about different things, they were all there, Moses Bascaran, nice to have you on board, my friend. It's crazy, We are in a, and times are changing, honestly. We are in an environment where, in a moment where everything is different. What else do we have? JD Williamson says, I think you got the point. DAB is fun and dandy, but I'd rather listen to a crappy received AM station than something choppy, and FM can also chop between two stations. Absolutely. I mean, I personally think FM is okay already the way it is. Yeah, maybe DAB could be used on medium wave for some reason, but I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's all or nothing. That is one of the problems I think right now that's happening for sure. Yeah, like William says, US needs a larger FM band. Here in Montreal, it's the same thing. The FM band is saturated. The FM band is, I don't think there's space for another station. If there is one, I think there was a station that had talked about being on 107.9, but it created somewhat of a problem because a lot of Montrealers listen to that Vermont station on 107.9, me being one of them. So, you know, it's crazy. Tony Turtle, I remember the 1010 Club operating on 10 on single sideband CW, but I don't hear any 1010, but I do hear some, yeah, you know. Oh, really? John Pinckney says, back in the day, European FM ran out at 104. Wow. Jeff King, nice to have you on board. The sad thing is that these big 50 kilowatt stations are being crowded out by all these little niche radio stations running on low power. Yeah. Shady Pyro 90, nice to have you here. Cyberflyer 1, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And you are listening, by the way, to the Shortwave Radio show every Fridays, 2000 UT. I can put this a little higher here. Now there's no cat. And of course, we talk about radio. We talk about shortwave, FM, AM. Today we're kind of talking about broadcast bands and DAB, digital audio broadcasting and stuff. If you like what I do, well, you can help out, of course. Don't hesitate. There's a PayPal place where you can actually send me a little something, paypal.me/shortwave. Or if you're on PayPal, just send it to the Yahoo email that you see here. And it's always appreciated to get donations because it is very helpful in what I do. And you know, I'm here every Fridays. I'm always entertaining you guys. You know, somebody the other day again gave me a little something and said, you know, it's true what you say. It's like, you know, having a subscription to a magazine or a subscription to some something that, you know, we enjoy and we want to have, you know. So some, you know, give a donation once a year. And you know, it's like a donation for them. It's like a subscription to Gilles Shortwave stuff. You know, I'm taking a lot of effort. Doesn't show, but these videos that I made this week and more coming up now of the my top 10 favorite shortwave receivers. They take time to actually make because, you know, you got to sit down. You know, I sit down with the radio and start. You know, I do 2 columns and I start writing down. Okay, the good. What's good? What do I like about it? And I tune around and I play around, and it takes a lot of time to cough up the good, the bad, and all of it, and try not to forget about something. And you know, it's obviously very appreciated what I do here. And you know, the live shows that I do, that you know, every Fridays, often lasting, you know, 3, sometimes 4 and 5 hours. I mean, they are. I know for a lot of people, they are something that you like, that's important. I mean, it's like a big party, and it's something that I enjoy doing, because if I, you know, wouldn't enjoy doing it, I would not be here every Fridays, because I would do something else, you know. I love the radio hobby. I like to share my passion for it. Obviously, you guys, a lot of you guys have the same passion that I do. and it's something that also costs money. I need a better internet connection. I need equipment for all of that to work. Cameras, lighting system. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lighting systems just for this to happen. There's the computer running. You need to upgrade a computer from time to time. There's the internet connection. Like I said, it's more expensive because I need a good upload speed. There's so much that is involved here that it's not just yeah, I do have YouTube monetization, but there's something about it that that makes me spend money to do what you guys enjoy. So if you have never donated and watch me every week, why not think about a little something? And I do get people apologizing for their donations from time to time, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's just this." Never apologize for a donation. Remember one thing, guys. However small or big the donation is, you are one of a handful of people that actually donate. Honestly, the huge majority of people do not donate. And I mean, it's okay. There are people that don't, that don't have the money. Perfect. There's no problem there. I totally understand that. There's some people sometimes that are going to say, "Hey, you could activate this feature or do videos that are only for paid subscribers," or I don't like that way of doing things. I don't want to do content that is blocked for some people that unfortunately don't have the money to pay to subscribe or to be. I like the just leave everything like it is, so that everybody could see it, and think about some people are generous and will give you something in return. So think about it. It's something that just imagine someday that this isn't here anymore. Will you miss it? Will it be something that you're going to say, "Hey, man, I miss so much all of that was happening on that YouTube feed where we were all a great gang of radio." I have that on another channel, which is the tech channel, where I stopped doing live shows. I get feedback all the time about we missed your live shows so much. Yeah, but you gotta. There are a few things you gotta think. First of all, do you like what you do? I was getting, on the tech channel, I was not having fun doing it. So that already is a big problem. And then, you stay there and you help out and you talk about stuff. And you're like, I remember saying to one person in the tech channel, you just, with what I told you, had a fix that you didn't have to pay a tech guy to go to your home. And I remember saying, isn't that worth it? Little donation. You don't have to. Like I said, if everybody would give $1, it would amount for a great, a pretty good amount, and it costs nothing. But anyways, I'm going to stop ranting at that, and I want to thank everybody that donated, because you guys are great. And think about it. If you like what I do, why not give a little something? Okay, what else do we have? I'm a little far back. I'm going to go a little faster. I'm 20 minutes back right now. So, okay, I'm at 20 minutes before right now. William, but don't you listen to Alan Wiener Worldwide? I do from time to time, yeah, absolutely. It's kind of laid back stuff. I do from time to time. I kind of enjoy listening to Alan Wiener Worldwide on Fridays. I will just say that tonight is Night of Nights event. So what is Night of Nights? It's a once a year reactivation of a maritime station. So it's happening today, well, tomorrow, technically UTC time. And it's from the Maritime Radio Historical Society. It's going to be 0 100 hours universal time UTC time tonight, where station KPH, KFS, and K6, there's also an amateur station, K6KPH, will be broadcasting. QSLs are available for anyone that sends a report with a self-addressed stamped envelope, and it comes from the RCA receive site in Point Reyes, California. They are reactivating tonight all of the frequencies. All of the frequencies. So all the transmitters, and some of them are transmitters from the early days, like in the 40s and 50s, and they're going to be turned on tonight at 0000 hours UTC. The stations, I'm sharing the link here. I hope it's going to work. So KPH will be on 426 kilohertz, 500 kilohertz, 8642, 12808.5, 17016.8, and 22477.5. It's only CW broadcast. So there's real operators tonight, that are going to be there and that can actually answer back. They're even asking for calls from ships that might be able to actually respond back. They also will be listening for calls on 4184, 6276, 8368, 12552, 16736, and 22280.5. There will be K6KPH AM station on 3550, 7050, 14050, and 21050. Anyways, I'm sharing the link here in the chat room. So this is happening tonight, night of nights. It's once a year, and it brings me back because I always remember and think about how these old transmitters are reactivated just for one day, and it's kind of cool when you think about it. So real ham radio operators are going to be there and are going to actually participate in that campaign of Night of Nights, and it happens every year, around July 12th, 13th, 14th. That's when all of that is activated. So it's kind of cool. Randolph Rocket Lab, nice to have you on board. Enjoys the show a lot. Thanks for what you do. Thank you very much, my friend from Augusta, Maine. Cool. Jeff King says, glad WBCQ's on the air, but I really wish they would do something. Yeah, but it's being paid by that group somewhere, so it's kind of crazy. Let me just... Yeah, has it happened? CBC show, yep. Let me just go down a little faster, guys. If I miss out on something, if I miss out on saying hi, please let me know. Ray Lyle, I wonder if someday the noise will get so bad the man-made noise won't be able to listen to shortwave anymore. One thing for sure is that for the past 30, 40 years, noise has steadily gone up, and there's no sign that worse and worse is going to reverse or stabilize. So let's cross our fingers, because that's a very valid question, honestly. Jeff King says listens to the radio for music on a job. I use one of my vintage radios. It's this oldies FM station here in Jacksonville. So I guess I would I would probably listen to FM if I was in a situation where that's pretty much all I'm getting, honestly. Joey D, nice to have you on board, says there's too much interference hash now on AM stations. Almost impossible to reel in clear signals. Yeah, I know. If that's the biggest problem of AM. For sure. Yeah, WCBS New York, Dr. Sisop is one of the stations I get quite often. Quite often. Absolutely. Yesterday I was hearing quite a few yesterday. So I'm actually accelerating a little bit so I get a little more to the actual chat room. So guys, like I said, if you ask a question I didn't see it, please ask it again because I might have gone a little too fast. William, are there pirate stations in Canada? So it's hard to know where stations do and come from, but honestly, I know for a fact that there are two places that there were some, and maybe still some broadcasts coming from pirate stations. Southern Ontario, somewhere in the southern part of the province of Ontario that I know of. Another one in the southern part of the province of Quebec. But I'm pretty sure there's probably something happening here for sure. For the shortwave side of things. On the FM band, the AM band, I've never heard of Pirate in Montreal. Cosmic Lettuce, nice to have you on board, my friend, from Arizona. Today's beer is, I'm right now, so the first one when the show started was À Tout le Monde, which is Megadeth beer, which is for everyone. Right now I'm on a Don de Dieu, which means it's, well, there's, look at that cat here, which is a gift from God. And if we go through it, well, I still have a End of the World, La Fin du Monde. If I might be going there. So, you know. Man. Learn Nigel P. Lawrence, nice to have you here from Barrow and Furness, Cumbria, Northwest England. Just bought a Radio Shack DX302. Is any mods about this radio G0MEJ? There's, I believe I've seen a couple of mods. If you do DX, Realistic DX or Radio Shack DX302 on Shortwave, on Google and mod, you might see there's a page. There's an AM radio operator that has a page of modifications. I own one of those, a DX302. It's kind of a nice radio, very nice. Sheldon Harvey. She'll stop listening to Sean when they stop playing Duran Duran. But I miss the Sean from the 80s where they would actually play some French francophone music from Montreal. Sean is a very, very unique station. I mean, you can almost call it a bilingual station because it's a very unique where it is in the market. And they need to use that because it's the best way for them to stay on top, honestly. Shum is really, really the best way to stay on top. But yes, Shum did play Duran Duran in the 80s. No, I just stopped listening to the radio. Not just Shum, just to the radio in general, anyways. Man. What else do we have? What else do we have? What happened to Digital Radio Mondial? Well, there are still some stations that have it, but honestly, it's going nowhere. Honestly. Yeah, fast load. Yesterday we had pretty big thunderstorms. There was even a tornado up in Lanaudière. There's some really big thunderstorms last night. There was like 100,000 people out of power. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Take care, PLF Radio. It's nice to have you on board. Try to get a little. Jay Waterson 69. Nice to have you here. There's this awesome pirate station I listen to late at night. It's ran by this cat in Canada that goes by the name Paul, Pirate Paul. Oh man. CQAM stereo. Oh man. Yeah, I'll try to listen in tonight. When I think about it, the problem with WBCQ here, William, is that it's not always a good reception. Like I said, I'm not that far away from Monticello, Maine, and that means that a lot of the broadcasts um, from there actually are skipping over me. So that is one of the biggest, probably one of the biggest issues here of what's happening, is that it's not always an easy listen for WBCQ. 3265, 5130, 5130. 80 at a time. 80% of the time is actually it's coming in okay. But I'm trying to listen tonight for sure. If you're part of WBCQ, or if you're one of those that call into the show, say hi. John Pickney says, first heard AM stereo in the summer 1970 on a McLeod's Extra 690. Beautiful music out of Tijuana. One of my former employees was an FCC testbed for all the AM stereo systems. Kind of nice. Focus what? Focus. What's out of focus? I'm not out of focus. I'm okay here. Make sure that you're on 720p at least. If it's out of focus, you might not be getting the full stream. What I want to say. That's it. You're on 144p. That's usually what happens when you're out of focus. You're not on the top. You're not on the top feed. I'm broadcasting it in 720p. I could broadcast in 1080p, but it stresses my computer a little, so 720p is fine. Pompidou Powerful, how is Baofeng UVD 8D programmed to be compatible with Baofeng BF777S? Anybody know that? It can help him? You know, just crazy. So, moving down. Yeah, David Letterman. I remember Ray Lyle. I remember David Letterman at some point in I don't know, early 90s or something. I don't remember when exactly. I remember him mentioning shortwave radio and being a big fan of shortwave radio. Oh yeah, this is better than politics. Absolutely. I have back sense strong. I plan on watching Gilles in my old age. Imagine if I'm still here, you know, like at 80, talking about the 4 stations left on shortwave and the lack of ham radio operators and the noise that's so heavy that you can't even turn on an AM radio anymore. Oh man. Max says wrong. When Jill becomes rich and famous, you will all get to say we were there in the early days. So hope you guys are able to. I'm just going to click the link that I shared to make sure that it works. Yeah, it does. So look at that link for the Night of Nights frequencies for tonight, 0100 hours Universal Time. That's when it's happening, and they're reactivating the station in Point Reyes, California, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, 500 kilohertz long wave, absolutely. Actually, 500 kilohertz is medium wave. Long wave ends at 300 kilohertz. And 300 kilohertz to 3000 kilohertz is medium wave. And 3000 kilohertz to 30 megahertz is shortwave. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Cosmic Lettuce. Tom Dennison, can I still get BBC World Service in Ottawa somehow? I think you gave a demo on how to receive it. Love the show. Your best bet for Ottawa, you should be getting the same frequency that I have. 0100 UTC, so 8 p.m. every night. There's 1 hour from the Warferton UK transmitter site. 7300 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 000 UT. It always comes in really well here on the East Coast. So you'll hear it. You'll hear it tonight. I'm pretty sure. 7300 at 0 UT, 8 p.m. So it's doing at night local time. Then I sleep and count sheeps. I count shortwave radios. I will count shortwave radios. Do you count sheeps? No, I count shortwave radios actually. Oh man. Everyone says I live about 1 kilometer east of the VCS transmitter site. I don't think it will be activated tonight. Hey, Free Saxon, nice to have you here. David Arden says, when the QRM is too bad, head to the park or the country. Yeah, that's pretty much the way you do it. Absolutely. Cosmic Lettuce says, radio, astronomy, and peace. Perfect, perfect. You know, actually, when I had a telescope when I was a teenager, I would watch the stars at night and have my shortwave radio next to me and tune to different stations on shortwave. That was kind of heaven. It is kind of heaven. Kevin Wood, 1010 WINS, 24 hours here. It's a battle here, honestly, in Montreal. Most of the time, 1010 is CFRB Toronto, but there are nights where WINS was the one that was actually winning out. So, you know. I just posted it, Maglone. I'll post it again for those that missed the link for the Night of Nights event. I just posted the link again if you guys want to check it out and make sure that you can tune in. It's only CW, remember, Morse code. That's all you'll get tonight. J.D. Williamson, Noise Flora, can you show that little video of a ham operator in South America where the power was out through the country and suddenly came back on? That's how much noise. Yeah, it's totally nuts. It's totally nuts. Here, when the power goes out across the you know, the area, the neighborhood, oh man, zero noise suddenly. Yeah, be careful, Bobby, in Louisiana. It's, make sure that you stay safe. Ray Lyle says, I've been getting radio 1010, 6, which is CFRB, from Canada really well here in Southern Illinois last month during day and night. Cool. On 6070 kilohertz CFRX. Do you want to DJ KJL? Be careful with your beer. Paul might have a party with his friends on your table. Yeah. Kevin Wood, yeah, Beau Dommage. Absolutely. Another great band. Take care, Sheldon. Nice to have you on board. See you Sunday morning for the International Radio Report. And yes, please do listen to the International Radio Report on Sunday mornings, 14:30 UTC, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And it can be streamed via ckut.ca. I'll post the link here. ckut.ca. And it's a great little show that we have on Sunday mornings on the International Radio Report. Hey, Rick. Nice to have you here. Where are you from, Rick? Take care, John Pickney. It was nice to have you on board. Dr. Sissab, do a WWV check. Okay, well, we'll try all of them, but I already know there's a lot of them that won't come in. So, let's start with 25 megahertz. So, nothing on 25. Then, nothing on 20. It is on 15 megahertz. And it's the ID time, so it's on 15 megahertz with its ID right now. Not super strong, but it's there. So 15 megahertz is coming in. Let's try 10. They're on 10 also. I'm actually hearing 2 at the same time on 10. I'm actually hearing 2 at the same time. I don't know if I'm hearing maybe the Brazil one, because the Brazil's on 10 megahertz. But I'm hearing WWV and some beeps at the same time. So maybe I'm hearing, what is it? Papa Echo, PPE from Brazil. And on 5, there's nothing that is to expect because it's daytime here. And 2500, of course, there's nothing that is also to expect. So, I'm talking of CFRX coming in. Yeah, CFRX coming in not bad. 6070 CFRX. Hey, look at that, guys. Are you guys receiving? Look at that, 6,000 kilohertz. Are you guys receiving this, or is it local? That looks local. Oh yeah, that's definitely local to here. Wow, what's that? This is so weird. Look at all these lines. Beeping. I've never seen that before. Did somebody buy something new that didn't exist before? Look at those lines, 6,000 kilohertz. I don't think that is shortwave. I think that's local. Station in Spanish on 5980 kilohertz. 5980. What's on 5980? Is it Radio Havana, Cuba? 5980. 5980. 5980 at this time 2200 is oh, Radio Marti from the United States. Okay, Radio Marti from the US. And let's check out on Radio Exterior de España 9690. It should be in English. Pretty good signal. Very good signal, actually. 9690 Radio Exterior de España with some music. What is there? Kevin Wood, WBCQ S6. Tony Turtle, I brought my radio in a spot underground on 2 meters and it still picked up signals. So those signals go deep in the ground. There was probably some places where it could actually go because underground It cuts off quite fast though. William Helms, music choice channels on cable TV. Out there's Pro 7s, 2 parallel bows, acoustic, and outcoming from a Sony STR DE845 receiver. Huh, kind of cool. Take care, D1DJK. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Jerry DX is planning on doing that in the next few days. Campfire, Skywave, SSB, cold beer, and stars. Do videos and explain what you're doing. Be interesting to see where you are and show us around a little bit. Rick, cool, Manchester, UK. Nice to have you here. Dana F, nice to have you on board from Providence, Rhode Island. What else do we have? Oh, that's not Cuba. That's some kind of weird thing here. I think it's local here. I think that is local weird stuff happening. Joe Tapinka says Jackie Gleason was a big Shortwave fan. His go-to receiver was a Kenwood R5000. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Wow. Ray Lyle says, gotta head out. Everybody keep those radios turned on and turned on some shortwave. See ya. WA9211SWL in Southern Illinois. Take care, my friend. It's nice to have you on board. So that's pretty cool. So, hey guys, we're gonna call it quits for tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. It's been 2 hours and 6 minutes. We're gonna take it easy for the rest of the night. And I'll be checking next week for maybe some kind of improvised live show from outdoors somewhere. I was thinking of doing something like that. Don't forget to listen to the 0-100 Hours UTC Night of Nights. And CW, so it's Morse code only. But use a decoder. You can use a software to decode CW or Morse code. And listen to Shortwave. And listen to the radio. It's a great hobby and it's a great thing. And so I'll try to do some outdoor live shows sometime next week. I'll try to announce it in advance. And if not, well, next week, Friday, July 19th, sorry, we will be live again. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. See you all next week. Love you all. Stay safe. Listen to that radio. Bye.